He is an ordained priest, you know, actually.
This is
true.
true.
If we were in certain areas of America, he could actually wed someone if he really wanted to.
Is it to the Church of RN Jesus, though?
The Church of RN Jesus. That is where I believe Player Unknown is the head. And we'll see whether he preaches in that direction, whether Faze Clan are going to receive some of that juju. We will see, because there's a lot to play for still, with, what, 7 games to go. Looking at the points, we saw obviously Liquid up the top there on 3,170 points. 7 games to go. You're going to be looking at 5,000 plus points at the top of the table. There's still so much to play for.
But here's the thing. We're starting to see Liquid's lead slowly diminish. They had like 1,000 points at the end of day 1 and slowly losing 100 points here, 100 points there. They have to continue this performance. They have the momentum, but they have to hold on to it.
But this is the thing, right? This is what we've always talked about with Liquid. Can they keep that consistency? At the moment, I would say yes. They're sticking around the top 5 fairly consistently, so it's looking pretty good for them. There's still a long way to go, though, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Chicken dinners are still available plenty here in Leicester. So, welcome to South Georgia. It has been a phenomenal last 2 matches for them, picking up not only 1 but 2 chicken dinners. Larson, honestly, on his own in the match before as well. Really, you wouldn't have put odds on him, but he was the only man in that South Circle, and oh my word! Another Northern Circle. Welcome to South Georgia. Just going to be like celebrating in their box right now.
And look at it this way. We've seen some odd transitions coming out of Welcome to South Georgia where they keep cutting around the South. This time around, they should go, no, okay, there is absolutely no reason to go hang out around Everest. They can just go to that position that's right on that bridge to the east of Georgia Pool, hold that down, maybe get some people. Now, do note, we do have the river that's running through. At this point, everybody has to assume north is where you go to. Alliance, that's their foothold. But look at where Grow Up went to. They actually went to Zharki, and it pays big for them this time around.
It does pay dividends. Obviously, they're normally a Primorsk setup there.
What's
Long
Diggs doing up there?
Coming down. They got a long way to go, but I'm looking at Gavran. Gavran from Redzone is actually in the obviously that crossroads bridge position. That is a prime spot right now for this circle.
Elgiganten is spread all around the map. They've got 2 people that are up around the northern Georgia Pool area, and then they have 2 people that are outside the circle down around Gatka.
They've been doing this a number of times.
I know, but it's so weird.
And it's actually been working out for them. They're going for the north-south split, and they have been working out for them. Savage finds himself someone going past. I think that was Singularity heading down to their south spawn area. Obviously, they're the choice. Singularity have kind of been bouncing between this sort of quarry, sort of spread nomadic loot area and Kameshki Scour, but they just did a little bit of Kameshki Scour and went, we kept running into Alliance. We didn't really like it, so we're going back south.
What's going to be interesting to see, are we going to continue the theme of Rogue and Atlantis hanging out next to each other and transitioning right on top of each other to where they end up in these long-range skirmishes or sometimes extremely close-range skirmishes where they just kind of keep crashing into the exact same buildings? So they make a path all the way through the map right next to each other.
And it was a good rotation last game, right? They went relatively early. Again, the plane has been fairly kind to them, so I expect to see them rotating relatively early. Now, the problem is that, obviously, you look at the map and you're thinking, that's probably, what, 30–40% water in there. It is going to shrink away. It almost certainly will be northern side of the river, I would say. It could bounce down to South Georgia. I would probably say north side, though, is more where we're looking. I can see the Copenhagen Flames are already going there. So Fever making a very early rotate
coming out
of
from Chronix right now, trying to get down Diggs. He was in a position off over here, and he goes down really early. This is the risk of doing that separated strategy. Sure, they're doing well in the leaderboards, but they keep losing members really early. I love this. Diggs, you know he's going to die. Chronix is going to push that, but it's like, no. You're going to have to waste your time. You have to come up behind this tree. I'm going to make sure.
Shotgun.
Just,
is this
finish
the first
off.
shotgun kill of the game? I think maybe the first shotgun kill of the game. I don't think we've seen too many shotties, but yeah, I mean, like you say, his teammate's still in North George. I don't know what. I guess he was trying to secure the compound early on. It's a strong compound, in fairness, that he was going towards there, and obviously realized it was already taken.
But now here's the interesting factor. We've seen Alliance have complete dominance of this northern area of the map, and now they're having to run through a lot of people. This is a little bit of a different strategy coming out from them, and they have to be cautious.
Where we just saw that kill, I think Fever's just actually gone ahead of him. So while those shots were coming down, he's been drawn towards him. Fever just took a couple of shots on him. So he's gone plumb center of that circle, Fever, for Flames. It has been a torrid tournament for the Copenhagen Flames. They qualified so well. But it's a very early rotate for them. They've obviously been in Rosok. They've not really been contested in the loot spot. It's just rotations have not gone their way.
I really like the position that they're playing out of. And here we go. welcome to South Georgia, always leaving Georgia Pool around this point. We've got Elgiganten now pulling out. They're going to go off to the distance over there, try to meet up with their friends. We've got Rogue hanging out down around the military base area. But we really have to see how these next transitions come into play, because this is the big migration phase that we're moving into right now. About a minute before the circle starts to collapse down, the guys that really want to get those footholds early are going to start their movements.
I think we're seeing Blank actually rotating fairly much all in one vehicle.
Well, I gotta say, Blank has been performing really well. They've been very quietly sneaking through the leaderboards, and they're holding down a great spot. They are still within touching distance of that third place position. They just really have to bunker down those last couple of circles and fight their way through them.
Nice crate. Org, decently set up there. Get yourself just about everything you want. Cheek pad's not going to be too helpful, but maybe you're going to have DMR. Most people these days. Oh, hello. Gavram. We did see him early on. Obviously, he was in the crossroads position. He's decided to go a little bit further north, try and find a position. Fever and Co. already in there. Savage, we've already seen it once. He's going to switch over to the VSS on the Dacia. Okay. All right, Savage. You know, each drone doesn't even have the extended mag there either.
Take the shot. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You miss, it's a VSS. Maybe you hit him in the head 3 times in a row and it pays off for you.
You get a little lucky. The Flames, I think, are going to be picking up that Org. I think that was the crate we just saw a minute ago. Looks like they are pretty nearby. Liquid are on the move. Here comes Team Blank. We saw them coming out of Gatka. They're very close to Redzone on the hills there. Macindark and Gavran, you see. I think Macindark's got somebody else in his cars. He just rolled down the hill. Yes, he did. Celis is like, nice driving, bro. Let's get back in position, shall we? Liquid on the move. They're coming out of Yasna and up and over. They've left Wizards B in their compound. Blank, this is what I was talking about. They were kind of stacked in one car. It's a little risky. And unfortunately, it means Pybas will be the victim.
And so he's gotten knocked out off on the side. He's just going to bleed out. But, again, make it a little bit hard for everybody. Just kind of hide back off in that area.
He's behind a rock, though. And the rest of his team did get out on the hill. So they may try and go to keep him alive. But that's risky with Alliance down in the compound.
Running down a hill into a compound to go for a res on a guy behind a rock. I don't know. I think Pybas is just going to kind of hang out there.
Drive back there, maybe? But then he risks the vehicle. It's very early. It's circle 1.
Well, it's also a migration phase, so you don't want to move back to try to get somebody up, because then you're going to lose the position that you're trying to get the foothold in. I think it's just at this point you leave your guy behind, and he just routes you on from the spectator.
So Method, they've come up and they've taken the crossroads position, the bridge camp position. In his phase, they're taking their somewhat standard route. It is a deep northern route. They're going to go up and around the edge of Stauber and swing in. And for once, it is the safe route. This is the route that works for them, and it has worked for a very long time. The Knights have already come into the circle, so they're just trailing in behind Wizards there. Wizards. Yeah, Liquid, sorry. Texas being the lead man. You can see Liquid not in close there. I think Liquid going for the gas station, right? They've gone in there. Texas very close to welcome to South George. I think I just saw him disappear on the map, and I could see shots fired there, exactly where Texas was.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard rotation now for all these guys that are coming in late. Specifically, we can see that Knights is going to be rolling right by where Liquid is at, and they're going to have to push up to where welcome to South George is at. This is going to be really hard. Texas is already having to retreat out of this position. The other guys are going to come back over and potentially come in that direction. But look at how many people are following Faze's pathing. We've got Wizards that's already gone into a position to hold them, can gatekeep them if they continue this path. Meanwhile, Moonwolf is right back behind them, as well as the Boars back behind that.
And Rogue and Atlantis still have yet to leave Sosnovka. They're on a very late rotate this time. Obviously chose to go early last time, making sure they don't get camped on the bridge. We can see Penta are still there, but they're not going for a camp, it seems. They're going to make their way to the north. So just about everybody's settling themselves in there. Wouldn't be too surprised to see a couple of teams just sitting in and around. Maybe there's that little bunker by shooting range. It looks like where Samty may be heading as well at the moment. I'm just wondering if he's going to go that way. Oh! Who is that? That's Voxic that's managed to get himself on the edge of shooting range right there. So there's a crate nearby, actually, where he is. I don't know whether he's going to try and risk it and go for it. Or was that the crate that was looted earlier with the Orc?
I think he just ran over there and grabbed it. So now we've got guys from Moonwolf holding a position right next to Boars as they've gotten a little bit of a foothold. You can see one down.
They're heaven. They're miles away. They're just... I think someone got knocked. O'Connell's flipped himself somewhere.
Well, we're nowhere near the safe zone at this point. Yeah, I think
it's not going to happen. What are you doing?
He's just trying to...
Izako Boars that are still around there, right?
They're trying to, like, Skyrim their way up this. It's kind of hard to do here, you know. We've all tried to do it up the mountain. Let's see how he can get the jumps. I don't think it's going to pay off for him. I think he's just trying to gather information and see, maybe survive until one of his teammates can come up and save him. But Boars is held in this position. This is one of those mutually assured destruction points where, sure, you can take the shots and hold down this position, but it's really hard because the longer you stay here, you know the circle's going to come and do some damage to you.
Well, you had the chat as well with him, right? You're talking about like they're not sure whether they should be taking the fights at this stage or not. Now they've obviously opted to take them. It's a risky fight. They're well out of the circle right now. Very risky. We do see Rogue and Atlantis are actually finally making their way in. They're going to be sitting very much edge circle along with Singularity. You can see moving on to Everest. It probably is going to be a northern swing. We don't know. It could be a heavy swing south. We've seen crazier shifts in the circle meta, so we don't really know. Meanwhile, you can see on the northern side, Severny, Faze are just coming in alongside the bridge on the beach run, so they're going to be probably, actually, to be honest, they could get a decent run if they can on that beach edge, because there's not really much there.
Oh, Knights, they just cannot find a home. Every single time they find somewhere that they think they want to go, there's already a squad in the position. This is the problem with late rotations in the migration phase. There's just nowhere to go because everything's claimed. 77 people still alive, all 20 teams up and active. You just got to make do with what you can find, and I love this. FaZe knows that Alliance leaves Severny early to go for a reposition, so they're just going to swoop right back behind him and take Severny for themselves. Wizards
decided to stay out wide. Liquid have gone for a really big spread, actually. They're kind of spread around looking at territory. That little shelter that I was talking about, looks like James has kind of gone in that way. Shooting range. Scoom and I don't know who's with him. I guess Ibiza also at the crossroads. You can see he's got Moonwolf just behind him. Edicus is coming there. He's on his own at the moment. The rest of his team were stuck, remember, Moonwolf at Heaven. And I think Washout is still kind of stuck there without a vehicle, so he's got a lot of running to do. Yeah, he's going to have to walk his way over there. Welcome to South George, putting some shots down on the other side of Liquid. Going to force them to have to retreat out. Some nice shots coming out there. Look at all the blood spurts coming off of them. This is going to get dangerous for Liquid, as now they're going to have to translate from this position through multiple other spots. Circle's starting to condense down now. And I got to say, Lee, if we see the circle go south, this is going to get bloody. Ibiza knocked by Gemty and killed. First member going down. Oh, he's got a pure angle into the shelter. That was the shelter I was talking about. And Gemty gets himself an angle. I love, by the way, the fact that when you do look at them such a distance, all you see is the little horse of Liquid. Scoom, he's down in the shelter, actually. He's deep down in that shelter. The circle has shifted. It has gone north, as predicted. Kind of expected, really, when you see the circle like that. It will slowly move away, and you can see there's only a certain amount of landmass that's going to go towards it. Will obviously shift away from the sea by an extent, but a fairly decent circle. This is probably the most eastern northern circle we've seen so far, because we've really not had anything style away. But look at this. We've seen Knights have to separate out. They're kind of holding these little sub positions. They're having to burn through their meds. You can see Boxic is already down to just bandages and energy drinks right now. I mean, he has one painkiller and one energy drink, but essentially he's just got the stims. So that means that they're going to move into the mid game with no meds, because they just kept getting popped on every single one of their rotations. And look where he's sat. Like, he's at shooting range. The rest of his team are on the south edge, sort of just almost north of Redzone. If you see the rest of his team, all three members there. So he's very much away from it. And like you say, he's low on meds. Alliance are going to be going in towards the shelter by shooting range. They've managed to find themselves a nice little home there. Wizards have occupied the territory just south of Liquid and Moonwolf. Liquid themselves have gone into that little shelter where we've already seen Gemty get himself the one kill on Ibiza. Rogue, you can see rotating in slowly down south. Redzone under fire. To Zharki, yeah, taking shots on Redzone up on the hill. There are two different teams that are shooting welcome to Redzone right now. Said welcome to Redzone. Welcome just to Redzone. Well, I mean, there are no Red Zones out here. Have Red Zones back. But they're getting popped from multiple directions right now. As you can see, Copenhagen Flames are back behind them, taking some pot shots at them. They do have a little bit of dips that they can play around, but it's a little bit of a risky position from them if they have to change where they're at. So if they have to hop into vehicles and push out of this, coming out of this hill zone, whenever you have all of these vehicles already positioned up, it's going to be really hard, because now everybody's going to kind of gatekeep each other. Nobody wants to make that hard shift whenever there's a squad in position right next to you. Oh no. Look at Atlantis. Look at Rogue. Oh, is it going to happen again? They're going to meet each other again. This is happening, because they're both looking to angle for either the Redzone Bridge or the one to the further to the west. Atlantis are going to do the same. They both always start on Sosnovka and looking to do the same again. I guess great minds think alike at this point. Always go military base, always just transition to the exact same spots. Oh, and no, looks like they might shift out and around. That's going to put them in an odd spot. I don't know if you really want to hang out there. Looks like they might just be going over to Sunken City / Waterworld, holding that position down. They're just going to play along the Badlands area in that little bit of an edge spot. Crate drop coming down the way of the Knights by the looks of it, so they're going to get themselves a little bit of a present. Faze still very much happy in Severny, keeping them out of there. There's Rogue going over that bridge. It is clean and safe. No bridge camp, boys! Hey, have a little celebration. Jazzo, by the way, I noticed didn't go first this time. Because he's been caught out so many times on the rotates.
I mean, you know they have to be talking in chat. Please don't let there be another bridge camp. It's just been a running theme with them. And this separated strategy from Knights pays off, gets them some presence there, and AWM and everything to go with it.
And at this stage, that first aid kit might be useful as well.
This is true, yeah. They've been taking a lot of shots at this point. So now it's going to come down to where does everybody have to move? As I think that everybody's kind of got their foothold inside of this circle. Still pretty hefty out. I do have to say I really like Copenhagen Flames' position. They're playing that area where the plane crashes at, and it's got that divot, the rut that it makes as it crashes.
And they were
so you
there
can hide
early.
out. Yeah, and you can really hide out in there. You can drop your vehicles down inside of it. It's got a little divot that you can play around, and there's all those little like cosmetic flames that are in the area. So you can kind of pop up through those and get some really like sneaky shots off.
Welcome to South Georgia, playing very central, and it's a position they've played a lot of time. They kind of spread along that hillside. It gives them they actually play very spread, a little too spread for my liking, but it works out for them. The circle takes quite a big shift. Now that's actually an interesting deviation because this is circle number 3. It's got a big chunk of the river in there, so we know it will pull away and it will go to the north. So Redzone's position right now is looking golden, and the Flames, as you just mentioned.
And this is the hard part, and there's not a lot of good real estate here. This is going to be a big valley predominantly. You've got that hill that's just to the south of shooting range. So these guys that are on the outside, that's going to be Faze, Grow Up. We've got Boars that are going to need to make their way in. Atlantis, Rogue, they're all going to have their work cut out for them because it's just going to be a shooting gallery trying to transition into this point.
Fuzzface had an angle on the Liquid guys. They've tried to move on to there. Look at Gemty. Look at the spread that Faze have gone with here, trying to actually pin around. Now remember, they've already killed the Beatsters, so they know that this is Team Liquid ahead of them. They know this is the #1 team currently in points. Are they going to try and go for the kills here?
It's risky at this point because they need to climb through the leaderboard as well. Meanwhile, Boars under fire. Welcome to South George, holding up their position. I gotta say, I really love their rotations in this game so that we've been seeing today. Yesterday, it was their weak point, but they are always there first today, and they are holding down such great positions. Meanwhile, Alliance, is that a sneaky play coming up from them? Everybody's crashing down into this area right in front of Liquid. This is gonna be really bad for Scum, as now he has to abandon his vehicle, nails the shots onto one of the guys from Wizards, but off in the distance, you can see Aros trying to push up.
James is directly below him. If James pops out, he can get a clean shot onto Aros. Aros is going to try and toss the nade out. That's actually going very close to where Scum is right now. He's going to get the knock coming straight through. Doesn't manage to land. You hear the sort of surprise factor. Now Gemty is nearby as well, but T-Bone gets the third party on him. He wasn't expecting that. He was trying to position himself for some kills on Team Liquid. That's what they wanted. They're going to have to pop the smokes down. It's not going to work. Gemty's taken down. They were not happy about that third party in from Alliance. They were trying to set the trap of their own.
Fuzzface, he wants vengeance. You can see he's pushing off this side, but the guys from Liquid do see him. He's going to retreat back. He knows that somebody is in this area because he heard the firefight. Scum's just hiding down in this little divot. If he pushes forward, Scum could line up on everybody. Doesn't connect with the shots, though, so Faze is going to be getting control over this area.
This is Faze hunting Liquid down right now. That's 2 members. They've taken, but they've lost 2 in the process. T-Bone gets his second member of Faze. Axetti goes down. Gemty already picked off, so their blood rage effectively coming out of them, getting the red mist down as they see who they're facing, has just not worked in their favor.
Right on the outside.
Pumping bullets. Samty is down on the left-hand side at the moment, so welcome to South George pushing on this. Everybody wants a slice of Liquid.
Look at this. Gaxi wants control over this area. Gonna step out. Hiding inside the smoke is the last member for Liquid. Trying to suss him out, trying to get their grenades, thinks that he might be inside there, and doesn't know the fact that he's hiding out inside the smoke. Gaxi's taking a couple of pot shots. None of them are connecting. Gotta be careful that you don't shoot Miracle over there. Gotta be careful about that. They now know that he's inside the smoke, so just spray. The problem with it is, how much ammo do you waste inside of this? As Gaxi is starting to run out of ammo here, and they still have to do a push. There are squads that are coming up back behind him.
20th place for Team Liquid. That's
rough.
That was aggressive. I've got to admit this. As soon as they saw a Pizza go down, you saw Faze spread. They were looking for the kill. Alliance, unfortunately, got involved, and of course, that's cost Faze 2 members of their team, so they're down to 2, but they did manage to get 8 kills in the previous game, so a chicken dinner most unlikely at this stage, but there's a lot of work to go.
Nice shots coming out there. Wizards go wanting to push up onto this. He knows that he's in a little bit of trouble. He's right on the edge. He has a teammate that's off in the distance. He has to push it forward just a little bit more. You can see he's inside the blue zone, trying to run out and forward, trying to make it behind that little bit of a stick of a tree to get some form of cover, but they're going to have to retreat back. Is the grenade going to connect?
One's gone left, but I think the other one should be on point. Looks like it's gets aside. It does manage to land. Snake goes down, but not before he got a knock of his own, so they kind of traded back and forward, and I think Pig Gut's the only man standing for Wizards, so he's going to be able to get in. Doesn't need to smoke it. They've just both been downed. Maybe a little overzealous there, but he's not to know that, of course.
Faze is in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah.
You can see Welcome to South George already inside the safe zone, looking back down. Alliance T-Bone has been holding down this position right on the edge of the circle, not letting them move. Meanwhile, the rest of Alliance is coming out, getting on that outer wall. The whole south part of the circle is exploding as people are pushing in.
Everybody tries to make the move in there. Rogue going up, Penta going up. The Knights have got to get moving. They've managed to get the knock on Fuffens as well in the same time. You can see back to Zharki taking a little peek towards Method and Penta either side of them. As you mentioned, in the north, we also have Alliance and Faze that have to make this shift, this rotation out. They're probably going to take the swing round. Fuffens will be taken down. That's the first member of Rogue. Very interested to see how teams try to approach this circle. It's so risky to try and go center right now. Reels and T-Bone have been causing so many problems for Faze Clan right now. Just as Scoom was pinned, now they are pinned.
And this is a hard part to get out of because the safe circle is up the hill. So all these squads that are fighting, trying to vie for some form of position, they can just look back down at these guys that are fighting at the bottom of the hill and tear them apart. Meanwhile, we've got the guys from Method just tearing apart Atlantis. Nice shots as you see the body land right at the feet of Andy Pyro.
Yeah, gets himself an easy one there. Elgiganten also getting picked apart as they try and rotate in. You see Grubsy going down. Everybody's taking a piece of the pie of Team Blank. That's not a good performance from them, unfortunately. It's going to get Grubsy down. He can't do anything about it. He's actually spinning on the spot. Cageman goes down as well. Poor old Atlantis picked apart. They go out in 18th place. It has not been a good tournament for the ex-Limitless guys.
And again, a strong performance coming out from Blank. Doing a good job of holding down their location, really performing inside of this, and now here comes the push from Faze. They're trying to make use of these little dips, but they still have to push right into Alliance, who is waiting for them.
They've got Alliance to the side. Now, Wizards and Welcome to South George have actually engaged each other, so they're up the hill. So it actually gives them both the open opportunity to make ground as they get up there. We just saw Wizards go over, getting himself a knock on them. Meanwhile, Knights lose a member. That's going to be Washout taking down Drayden as they try and move in. He was the sole man, remember. He was on his own away from the rest of his team, so it's not too upsetting for the other three guys that are in position on the south end of the circle. But it's the north that we're looking at here as Alliance. There is only 2 members, I think.
Nice
three
grenade
members
coming out
Alliance.
from BZ.
And, well, Mexi's going to have to get the revive here, but I don't think he's got time.
The circle is coming in right now, and look at this. We've got Grow Up that's just looking down at this fight, exactly what we were talking about. All these guys that are up on the hill can just look down and dictate how these squads have to move at this point. Alliance, sure, they might be able to take down Faze, but what was the cost?
Play zone immediately takes him down. Mexi, in the end, will finish him off. And Mexi, the last man, is going to take his the meds as much as he can. But Mexi is the sole surviving member for Faze Clan. So while they were the one that saw the red mist and went looking for the kills on Liquidator, has turned around and bit them in the butt. They are looking to go down in 17th place. We'll see where they get finished off. The Wizards will go down in 17th as Gaxi takes them out. And that's worse. That's double trouble for Faze Clan now because the teams that were engaged on the hill are now free to take pot shots. Look at Gaxi. He's already going looking for it.
Because he's just having to tank the circle at the direct time. He can't even move at this point, but tanking the circle did buy him a little bit more position. Welcome to South George is just separating out, getting control over this edge, but it does look like they did not see Washout hiding down in that divot.
Gaxi and Muruku, they're on the loot right now, but they're looking straight down the hill because there's shots going off down that way. Singularity, meanwhile, they're getting picked apart. It's SLR action. SLRs from both Blank and Method pick the entire team apart. 4 kills and counting for Method. They can do it themselves with the chicken dinner. They've been consistent throughout the tournament. Mexi gets himself one. That's T-Bone going down. He secured the kill.
Vengeance.
Can he get out of it? He's in the blue zone. He will go down. It is going to be 16th place for Faze.
But he got the gatekeeper, and you know that feels good. But that is Faze and Liquid going out pre-15. That is going to really mess with the leaderboard, as now it's going to kind of open up.
And that's great news to Welcome to South George because they are 4 alive. They've been collecting kills. They've been taking fights. This is their circle, remember. This is a standard position they're in. This hillside, they are very used to fighting spread along this hillside. Gaxi and co have spread all along. They've got themselves, they know all the angles. They're looking towards Alliance because they just heard those shots. They're already making the moves to there. Back to Zharki, you can see taking a peek over at Grow Up as well on the other side of this hill.
this hillside is going to get really explosive. There's a lot of weird angles that you can play around. Everybody's going to have to condense down. So all the pressure is on back to Zharki. Sure, they still have 4 men up and active. We can see as you look up the hill, he spun up there. It's just wide open. So you have to make sure you're playing around these trees perfectly and collecting information from every single angle, as you could get third-partied from anywhere.
And look how well Welcome South Georgia playing. They know the entire side of their circle is free. So three of them are pushing onto Alliance, while Vard holds Moonwolf at bay at that compound. So the backs are covered, they know they're completely safe, and they're going for the move onto Alliance. Meanwhile, we see Singularity, the last man, Fraser, Blues on his back, unfortunately. Grow up, are going to get a couple of side shots on there. Third party and trying to get involved in that. The SLR can do a lot of damage there. Simple has to duck down, though, as if it gets a little tag. I think that was actually Welcome South Georgia returning fire.
Fazer is just having to tank inside the circle behind rocks, and it is hitting hard. He can see the guys from Method thinking about taking the shots, maybe seeing if he can play a little bit of spoiler, but he's got to time this perfectly. It's going to be pretty close.
I think he's missed
Once this circle moves forward, it's going to be hard. Can he get it up? This is really hard to get up inside of this. He's just got to slowly creep in right back behind it. Is he going to get there without being too loud? Andy Pyro shifts forward. That's exactly what he needed, and now he can claim the rock.
Mac and Dark, they are keeping Blank outside the circle right now. They've been kept away. That's just actually to the side. You can see them in the distance there on 80's screen. They're on the left-hand side, so both Blank and Redzone being kept away. Flames also creeping in there. Look how close Method, though, are to back to Zharki. So Fraser, he's got himself a little bye right now. He isn't quite in the zone. The Blues still pushing on the back of him. Method themselves are actually taking shots over towards Blank, and they should be worrying about back to Zharki, but Penta are getting involved as well. Elgiganten, meanwhile, are getting eliminated. I believe one man standing for them. But these three teams on the south, all being watched by the Knights.
You can tell right now everybody else is playing for violence. Meanwhile, we've got Fazer back over there playing like an espionage-style game. He's just sneaking in as he can, but Momans is not going to let him. They're just looking back down there. But it's going to be the guys. He got one down on it, and he got the kill. He's taking a lot of damage. Grenade's going to go out to the side of it. He is going to get polished off, but at least he managed to take someone down. That's going to make it really hard for Method. As look, we have got Penta on one side. Back to Zharki still holding this angle. Method have to push into this right now.
As soon as the 80 went down, everybody smelled blood. They immediately pushed on this position. 15 points a kill. Points are massive. The nades are rattling down. Look at Penta back to Zharki. They're swamping down towards Method. Dave the Crazy trying to get a peek over the sideline with Fon, but Penta in a prime position just to pop over the hill and kill them both.
You can see Dave the Crazy's going for a side flank on it. Does line it up. Shots do connect off on the outside. Now it's just one member up and alive off in the distance. You can see Penta is pushing down now inside of it. Dave the Crazy's now taking down. They've gotten distracted, and so it's going to be actually back to Zharki that gets spun on.
Method down in 13th place, but Penta do strike. They let back to Zharki pick up the kills, but now they're going to try and get collected on some of their own. Meanwhile, the Copenhagen Flames have just eliminated Redzone. A good game for them, one of their best games so far, I think, to date. They have Team Blank right next to them as well, as Penta and back to Zharki engage.
Circle is up, and you can see the guys from one are in a good position right now. That's a strong building. Knights are playing on the hill just on the outside of it that has the vantage point to sneak down, push into that point. A lot of these teams are going to want this. Penta's going for the push. They do not want back to Zharki back behind them. Back to Zharki's trying to get the res. They had one person down inside of this. If they can get back up to 3-man strong and get health, this could really turn the tide of the fight.
He's right on top of them. Couple Magic, he doesn't realize they're in the smoke. They're just to the left-hand side of him there. Would have been able to get himself a little peek, and it's all he sees Fon just peeking behind that tree.
Nice shots coming out.
Some tags, meanwhile, has to back away. MBS, meanwhile, back to Zharki, and Penta engaged on Blank in the distance, so Blank are kind of third party and getting involved in this. Meanwhile, we haven't mentioned Team 1, by the way, from center of the circle. They're the only team safe right now.
Hard push now coming out from back to Zharki. They know where Penta is. They did get the down, but they have to do the fight. They have to push up the hillside. Welcome to South Georgia. Caught up in a fight with Alliance. This has been a very long fight. I'd probably say about 5 minutes these guys have been shooting back and forth.
The Knights have moved forward. They're getting on the back of Penta as well. Back to Zharki, meanwhile, trying to punish them, but they're getting hit from the side. You can see the Copenhagen Flames taking shots. That's Alliance going down in 11th place as they get picked apart. Blanca down to 1 as well. The Flames are taking a lot of kills right now, but they've just got hit hard by 1 and Grow Up as they try and push into the circle. Remember, these guys are holding the circle right now. Knights are looking to try and come in and clean up, while Ryan Lockwood takes the shot, gets 1. Can he get the second? Surely running up the hill. One more tap would have done it, but he gets away with nothing.
But he manages to keep himself alive with that immaculate aim there, forcing a reposition now. You can see having to play across the blue, nets it off of the push-up. Ryan Lockwood playing that perfectly to survive.
Well, Penta down to 1. They're being kept out by the Knights. 1 are holding 4 members still, center circle, and the circle goes their way, which means welcome to South George, who's still got 4 alive, finally need to move. Penta will go down in 7th place as Voxic manages to find another kill there. Still 3 members, by the way, of Knights alive. They're actually spreading wide on this circle. Washout has stayed very quiet in the background. This could be the highest position finish for Moonwolf there as Grow Up Esports go out in 6th.
Really, it's all up to South George, how they reposition, and Knights how they position to deal with one's position hold that they have at the direct time. These solos can sneak up and inflict damage. It's all about the pathing. You can see that Knights pushing on the outside over there. They're going to run right in front of Ryan Lockwood, and we saw him nail some great shots a second ago. They have to be cautious of these solos at this point.
Look at Larson. He's got a Vector. He's ready to go. He wants to get close range. They've got a really nice spread. They've taken and swept around the entire north. So welcome South George. No, they have the entirety of the west and the north now free. They're just taking a sweep right now to take a good look. We can see it on the mini-map. They're swinging around and getting themselves security. Voxic gets a glimpse on Ryan Lockwood. Team Blank in all sorts of trouble, and he's going to go down. It's 5th place for Blank as they get eliminated, but it's a good old finish considering the position they were in.
They keep playing for position over and over and really performing in clutch moments to keep buying themselves a solid performance. They got in 4th last round. They come in 5th this round. They're really holding a strong position right on the edge of getting in that top 3 point. Meanwhile, Knights, they really want to perform here. We got the guys from Welcome to South George. They're wanting to make a statement today. They've already got 2 wins. You know they're hungry for that 3rd.
Could they get a 3rd chicken dinner?
That would be amazing.
Be insane, yeah. We've obviously saw Team Liquid doing it Star Ladder before as well. Triple chicken dinners, that's where it's all about. They want to go one better than Knights and Rogue and Team Liquid yesterday. Washout, he's on the move. He's actually coming around the back and flanking around the back side of Texas. Texas has been holding the back door, so he's going to be ready and waiting. He's looking this angle. The rest of the Knights have got themselves in the circle. Of course, welcome to South George, very much safe at the moment. It's all about whether this circle pulls away, whether one have to leave. Oh, I think Texas just hurt him.
He's going to have to come really close to this. This is a strong point to get vision down inside there. So you can see Voxic's trying to hold this position off to the side of it. Washout just wants to play this until the very last second. He doesn't want to give away his position, but God, look at the gun in Voxic's hands.
AWM, it's going to do some damage. Anyone that peeks, and it's all about whether you can keep your head right now. Washout. Oh, no! That's not how you want to go down, but it's going to be 4th place for Moonwolf. Probably one of their best finishes so far in this tournament. They've not had a great event so far. The Italians, the circle goes over towards the Knights, and it does mean that one finally need to leave their apartment.
And they have to walk right into a hail of bullets. This is going to be so hard. 2 different squads can look at them. They're going to have to extricate out of that area, push along that fence row, and just walk right into gunfire.
10 kills for Welcome to South George already. Mikaz looks like he might be the first to try and peek out there. They're going to have to smoke cloud it up because they're going to be running into a hail of bullets. Look at both Knights and Welcome to South George's position. They all completely trained on these sites. Anybody that peeks around the side is in trouble. Anybody that pushes out, I would say most likely they're going to take the western swing. They're most likely going to bump into the Knights. Depends where they choose to go around the north, because the north looks pretty exposed. It's a big exposed area. Look, you can see the
Rafi's afraid to peek the top of this. You can tell, like, every single time he steps up, he's like, where are the bullets going to be coming from? He knows it's probably going to come in his general vicinity. He is at the riskiest point on that, but he's got to collect information.
Welcome to South Georgia. Just realized the Knights are off to the side. So they've smoking out against one, and then they realize they need to deal with Welcome to South George. That's a big nade. He's going towards the smoke, and this is the thing with the smoke, right? If you put a smoke cloud down, you are drawing fire.
I've been saying it all event. It's so risky whenever you come out and you don't know the position from everybody. Voxic comes alive on the outside of that, trying to make sure he hits it, but you can see Fake has gone down from 1. They're now having to push through the smoke cloud. Bard feeling real strong, just steps up and gets the down onto one of them, looking for the second. He got eyes on Kramer. He wants to push this, get the down, make sure they don't feed him the information. Now, one's coming out, they know they have to make the push, but Bard's still continuing forward. He gets the down on it.
Massive push there. Texas being the last man standing. He gets around the side, going to deal with 1 on the back and 2 in the front as he gets around the side. Larson's actually been third partying and down. Gaxi and America go down to Rustenmar. So 1 picking up kill up the hill, but Bard manages to get him down. Knights will go down in 3rd place. It will be 1 that will take the chicken dinner, but a massive performance from Welcome to South George once again. I think it was like 13 or 14 kills towards the end there and counting. 14 kills for Welcome to South George. That is a mass amount of points in itself. 1 will collect themselves a decent amount. It's 7. It's not too bad, but it's the chicken dinner and the first one for them.
but it's about who went out early. Liquid in first place. Welcome to South George. In second place, comes up with a second place position inside of this round and a ton of kills. This is going to be insane. I cannot wait to see that.
And the Knights were in third as well, and they get themselves another third place and a decent amount of kills. Let's go to the desk. What a great that one was.
And what a victory by one, pushing them up the rankings just a little bit here, but they had the position, they had the weapons for it as well. My, for so long they were kitted to the nines with an M24, a Mini, and SKS, all the range in the world, and they take themselves their first chicken dinner here of the PGI EU qualifiers. And at the same time, WTSG